The following program, The Russ Belville Show, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate to the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity and encourage all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers on The Russ Belville Show are their own, and The Russ Belville Show cannot be held legally responsible for their validity or reliability. Viewer discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think that we think that we criminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Yeah, I hear you had a question for me.
Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
We love it.
All right, good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome. We are coming to you live from Froggy's right here in Fort Worth, Texas, for the beginning of the Dallas-Fort Worth NORML Texas Regional NORML Conference. I'm Radical Russ Belville. It is Friday, June 7th, 2013, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. I may have to cut out the video from time to time just because we're running off of 4G wireless right now, so I want to make sure you get good audio. I'll pop the video on from time to time just so you can get a look at what's going on, but this is mostly going to be an audio show today. We got Brian the Red hanging out in our studio. How's it going out there?
I'm doing fine.
Brian?
I'm doing all right. We'll see if we can make it through this 4G, 3G, whatever you're working with there.
Yeah, we're going to look for other wireless connection here. Froggy's Bar has a connection as well. I don't know if it's going to be any better, but we'll try that as well. But coming up on today's show, like I said, we're getting ready for the Texas Regional NORML Conference. We're going to have Shaun McAlister, the executive director from Dallas-Fort Worth NORML. He's going to sit down here, talk to us a little bit about what's going on at the conference. Also, we have got a great guest, Keith Stropp from the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. He's here. He'll talk to us about his presentation at Dallas-Fort Worth as well as the future of legalization in this country. Eric Altieri from NORML is here as well. We'll get him out here as well as all sorts of other folks. Got a lot of bands to listen to. And we'll stay here live all night long until we get to the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. We'll just let Brian leave the Skype line open, and I'll just report here live all night. It'll be a good time. Also on today's show, we got some behind the headlines for you, taking a look at Latin America and the countries that are for and against prohibition, as well as our regular 420 radio news segment. So check that out coming up in our first break. It's pretty hot here in Dallas-Fort Worth. You can hear the bands already starting to get the sound system worked up. Behind me, we've got ourselves a volleyball court. I don't know if anyone's going to take that up. We've also got plenty of outdoor seating. I'll give you another look here if I can. Get a little video shot of what's going on behind me. We're here at Froggy's for Dallas-Fort Worth NORML. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to 420radio.org. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
We're going back to San Francisco That's right, everyone. The High Times Medical Cannabis Cup is returning to the Bay on June 22nd and 23rd. Come to the Craneway Pavilion in Richmond, California for a High Times celebration of the best weed in the world. Meet the top canna businesses of the Golden State. Hear experts discuss indoor and outdoor growing. Find out about cannabis cuisine. Learn about the exciting new world of concentrates. Enjoy a massive medication area reserved for California medical marijuana patients only. And don't forget our swinging Saturday night concert when the stars come out. But as everybody knows, it's all about the cannabis. On Sunday night, we present the High Times Medical Cannabis Cup Awards for Best Sativa, Best Indica, Best Hybrid, Best Concentrate, Best Edibles, and more. Plus, we honor a living legend of the modern cannabis movement, San Francisco's own Dennis Perrone. That's June 22nd and 23rd at the Craneway Pavilion in Richmond, California. Go to medcancup.com for details. Be part of the growing cannabis community.
Now it's time for your 420 radio news for Friday, June 7th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. DEA reactivates controversial fired informant. This from USA Today. A government informant who was terminated by the Justice Department years ago amid accusations of serial perjury has been reactivated and is working as an undercover in drug cases with the DEA in Phoenix. Andrew Chambers Jr., once labeled in court records as the highest paid snitch in DEA history, gave false testimony under oath in at least 16 criminal prosecutions nationwide before he was exposed in the late 1990s. During his first career as an informant, Chambers, age 56, reportedly received up to $4 million in government money, nearly half of that from the DEA. He also was a paid informant of the FBI, customs enforcement officers, postal inspectors, the Secret Service, and other police agencies. He was credited with a role in 445 drug arrests. The DEA's internal investigation of Chambers in 2000 asserts that his dozens of handlers were unaware of the deceit because of communications failures within the agency. Among those handlers was current DEA Director Michelle Lenhart, who worked with Chambers as a field agent in St. Louis and as an administrator in Los Angeles. The Post-Dispatch report in 2000 quoted Lenhart as saying Chambers was very credible, an outstanding testifier. She also bemoaned the possibility that his undercover work would end. Quote, "That would be a sad day for the DEA," end quote. She told the newspaper, "He's one in a million." Hope for hemp goes up in smoke in the U.S. Senate Farm Bill from the Courier-Journal. An amendment to allow farmers to grow industrial hemp will not get a vote by the U.S. Senate before the Farm Bill is considered next week. Kentucky's two Republican senators said in a joint statement Thursday. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senator Rand Paul said they will vote against the bill, saying it was regrettable that further amendments, including the senator's hemp amendment, would not be considered. The Senate voted 75-22 Thursday in a procedural vote to set up Monday's vote. The senator's effort comes on the heels of the Kentucky legislature's approval of an industrial hemp bill pushed by the state agriculture commissioner James Comer and all that would allow Kentucky farmers to grow the crop should the federal prohibition be lifted. Comer said in a statement, quote, "I'm embarrassed of politicians who are too afraid to take a stand on an issue that is such a no-brainer for rural America." To see this through. New study, cannabis may prevent brain damage. This from Fox News. Cannabis, which has been associated with long-term cognitive deficits in chronic users, is now being tested as a treatment to preserve brain function after traumatic injury. The author of the new study, Dr. Yosef Sarn of Tel Aviv University's Adelson Center for the Biology of Addictive Diseases, theorized that low doses of THC, the main psychoactive component of marijuana, induces minor damage to the brain, which may actually precondition the brain to protect it against more severe damage, such as injuries from lack of oxygen, seizures, or toxic drug exposure. In other words, it may act as sort of a vaccine against more traumatic harm. Marijuana use increases risk of academic problems. This from USA Today. The University of Maryland School of Public Health released a report last week that connects student marijuana use and problems with academic retention and performance. The study followed 1,200 college freshmen over a 10-year period and found that substance use, especially marijuana,
Well, looks like we were having some difficulties with the call. We're going to try and get Russ back on the line here.
Discontinuous enrollment, then minimal users. Even infrequent users, those who smoked about twice a month, were 2/3 more likely than minimal users to be discontinuously enrolled. And finally, prosecutors Josh Brent tests positive for marijuana. This from NFL. The Dallas Cowboys have kept Josh Brent on their roster while he awaits trial for the December 8th car crash that killed teammate Jerry Brown. But the patience of the Cowboys might run out soon. Brent recently tested positive for marijuana, according to Dallas prosecutors. They asked a judge Thursday to revoke Brent's $100,000 bond and issue a warrant for his arrest, the Associated Press reports. Brent is accused of driving with a BAC more than twice the legal limit at the time of the crash. This has been your 420 Radio News for Friday, June 7th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines and take Latin America and the support and opposition to marijuana legalization. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. From the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, home of the famous lighter leash. Herb Age Designs, get your Herb Age t-shirts and hoodies and show your pride. Herb Age Designs, we've got frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com and follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter. We'll see you at this year's Hemp Fest. Crank it up!
Ladies and germs, stoners and stonettes, it is a great honor for me to present the High Times Lifetime Achievement Award to the King of Las Vegas, the man, the myth, the jackass. Please welcome Tony Clifton!
Hey, how y'all doing?
I want to say the High Times, thank you very much for this Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's a long time coming. In the past, Willie Nelson received it, Snoop Dogg, George Reynolds, George Hamilton. I don't know. But it's time. I'm very happy I got it. I'm really proud of this. I've never received anything before in my fucking life, to tell you the truth. So, but this is a very nice piece. I'm going to take this home, keep this around, fill it up with some killer weed, take it all down, and then you're going to hear sweet music coming from International Tony Clifton. Thank you.
Now, Andy, did you hear about this one?
Michael Phelps, Olympic superstar, 14 gold medals, world record holder. So much for that amotivational syndrome.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's 14 after the hour. We're coming to you live from Fort Worth, Texas. We're on Froggy's Beach Patrol. for the Dallas-Fort Worth NORML Texas Regional NORML Conference, featuring myself, Judge Jim Gray, Keith Stropp, Eric Altieri, Rob Campia. Plenty of people will be here. And we're going to bring you live coverage, at least audio coverage. We'll bring you what we can from the conference starting tomorrow. So check that out right here on 420radio.org. We'll also be calling in a little later tonight live on the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. But at this point, it's time for us to go behind the headlines, and I wanted to report a little bit about the rest of America. That is North America, South America. You know, there's plenty more America than just our America. And there's a story coming out of the New York Times entitled, "In America's Resistance to Legal Marijuana." They recently had the General Assembly for the Organization of American States. Now, this is the organization that basically is for the Western Hemisphere. All of the North American, Central American, and South American countries belong to this organization. And it made some headlines a couple weeks ago when they called for flexible approaches in drug policy and that we seriously discuss the legalization of marijuana. And there are already some countries in Latin America that are taking the lead on this issue. Uruguay has moved toward a state-regulated marijuana market. Guatemala has talked approvingly of legalization. And the president of Colombia says that marijuana should be legalized worldwide, but he doesn't want Colombia to be the first country to do it. Also in Colombia, we've got reports of how they are using marijuana to get some addicts off of bazuco, which is a kind of a cocaine, kind of a crack cocaine sort of substance. But in other countries in Latin America, it's not such a good story. Other countries, you know, they tend to be more conservative, socially conservative, when they're discussing these sorts of issues. And there's a lot of these countries that are rejecting the idea of legalization, and not just the United States. Brazil has opposed the legalization of any drug, and their drug czar in Brazil was actually fired 2 years ago after he made comments that some people said were kind of soft on drugs. So that's a different situation, and of course, largest country in South America. The head of Peru's anti-drug agency told reporters after that report came out that it rejects legalization and was already overwhelmed with trying to deal with drug consumers and drug addicts. Mexico also has rejected wholesale legalization, even though former President Vicente Fox expressed his support this week for legalization. In fact, even up in Seattle, saying he'd become part of a co-op of marijuana farmers. And another anti-legalization voice coming from the Latin American countries comes from Nicaragua. Dennis Moncada, the ambassador to the organization, told the gathering, quote, "Replacing and weakening the public policies and strategies now in use to combat the hemispheric drug problem would end up creating dangerous voids and jeopardize the security and well-being of our citizens," end quote. Now, of course, that dangerous void would be, gosh, if we take marijuana away from these desperate criminals, they'll have to sell something else. I don't know who they're going to sell it to. Also, speaking on Wednesday on his first trip to Latin America as our Secretary of State, former Senator John Kerry said he was open to dialogue about legalization, but defended America's policy, calling it a comprehensive, balanced approach between reducing demand and reducing supply. He also says that drug use has decreased 40% in recent years and that we need to increase treatment. Yet Kerry, of course, still endorses the pattern of seizure and interdiction and allowing the criminals to continue to run the marijuana market. Now, several countries in the Latin American states, including Mexico and Peru, have already decriminalized possession or use of small amounts of illicit drugs. The United States is arguing that it has effectively decriminalized marijuana through the use of drug courts, which steer nonviolent drug offenders to treatment programs instead of prisons. And this is the refrain we are going to continue to hear from our U.S. drug officials, is that we are all
Are you back, Russ?
That policy for our drinkers. We should not expect that policy for our marijuana smokers. So this is in New York Times. You can check this out through our news links at news.radicalruss.com. In America's Resistance to Legal Marijuana, NewYorkTimes.com. We're coming to you live from Froggy's Beach Patrol in Fort Worth, Texas, with Dallas-Fort Worth NORML at the beginning of the Texas Regional NORML Conference is taking place the next 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Check in with us all day at 420radio.org. We'll be bringing you live coverage. I can talk to you at all.
Yep. Well, we all know what time it is. It's 4:20 out there in Texas, I believe.
It's 5:20 out here in Texas.
5:20 in Texas. Well, it's 4:20 somewhere, so...
Well, let's celebrate. Be right back.
Indeed.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would send you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Hi, this is Dan Michaels. If you're looking for professional voice talent for your commercial or podcast, I'm your man. Visit danmichaelsaudio.com for more information. Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Rockin' Friday, featuring rock, metal, and the hard edge of alternative country. You can get downloads and more information about all our Daily Toker Tunes by visiting music.radicalruss.com. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
All right, well, calling an audible here on behalf of Russ and Herb. Herb didn't upload a new tune for Rockin' Friday this week, so I get to go and pick one out. I don't know much about this band, but I've heard him before on Herb's show. You know, we've got this Gypsy Hawk here, and the song that they're going to do is Galaxy Rise. So check that out, and we'll get Russ back at past with an interview.
a matter of time before we discover the cosmic sky that governs the world. If we do not destroy ourselves, the time will come when we can fully explain this. If we can manage to some damage in our ship, ponder the possibilities of progression. Follow wisdom, open minds, see to better all mankind. Lend a hand, embracing patience, go. Follow wisdom, open minds, see to better all mankind. Lend a hand, embracing patience, go where intelligence takes us. The grand scheme professes advancement, not for the few, but for all. Prodigious paramount, perplexing enormity. Into the new age, it's coming. The cosmic sky that guns the world. If we do not destroy ourselves, the time will come when we can fully explain this. If we can manage to some damage in our ship, ponder the possibilities of progression. Follow wisdom, open minds, seek to better all mankind. Lend a hand, embracing patience, go. Follow wisdom, open minds, seek to better all mankind. Lend a hand, embracing patience, go where intelligence takes us. Beyond a billion light years.
Georgia. Hi, this is Willie Nelson, and I need your help. Alcohol prohibition didn't work in the 20s, and marijuana prohibition isn't working today. It's time we stop arresting law-abiding citizens because they prefer marijuana over alcohol. Nearly 2,000 Americans are arrested every day on marijuana charges. We're unfairly destroying the lives and careers of hundreds of thousands of people each year simply because they smoke marijuana. These are not criminals. They're average citizens like you, good neighbors who work hard, raise families, pay taxes, and contribute to their communities. We need your help to end marijuana prohibition once and for all. It's the fair thing to do.
For more information, contact NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Call toll-free 888-67-NORML or visit their website at norml.org.
Activism begins with ACT. The Russ Belville Show features the stories of hardworking grassroots activists working for an end to prohibition in today's activist agenda.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 6:30 after the hour, and what better activist agenda could we start off with today than the introduction of the Dallas-Fort Worth NORML, the Texas Regional NORML Conference. And joining us here to talk all about it is the Executive Director of DFW NORML, Shaun McAlister. Hi, Shaun.
Howdy, Russ.
How are you doing?
Doing great, Russ. Welcome to Texas.
Oh, we're back in Texas. Only good things can happen. We're at Froggy's Beach Patrol here in Fort Worth, and this is kind of the opening, ceremony, reception. Who's all going to be here? What's happening?
Yeah, we've already got Keith and Eric from National here. We've got a couple of musical acts here. You are one of our favorite guests, as always, right?
Thank you.
We're going to have a bunch of music, including, of course, the FNAs.
Yay!
Off the event. We're going to have some artists creating some live art. You've seen some of it around already, but some of the artists haven't arrived yet. They're going to be creating art to the music, and then at the end of the night, we're going to raffle it all off to raise some money to help recoup some of the cost on this, the cost of this conference.
Now, the conference part, of course, is tomorrow in the morning and afternoon, and we got Saturday and Sunday. What are some of the things you're most proud of coming up in this conference?
Well, probably the biggest thing is bringing Judge Jim Gray in. I mean, for me, he was one of those people when I was watching him on television, I was like, wow, he makes me feel like I have my own voice, and I think I need to get involved with NORML, and now here I am, and bringing somebody like him in, it's kind of an epic moment for us as a chapter, because 3 years ago, we were struggling to throw a party to bring out 30 people. And now we're doing these bigger and bigger events, and we're really trying to lead other NORML chapters into the next level of their activism.
To what do you attribute a lot of this growth with DFW NORML? What's made it so popular lately?
You know, I feel like there's the crucial people element behind it, the people who work every day at it, but then we also just have a lot of variety within those people. You know, we've got all these different people that bring different skill sets to the table that allow us to do a lot of different things, so we're always reaching different groups of people instead of just the same old groups that, you know, your traditional marketing methods might reach. And so we've got people like Pete Marrero, who's just really opened us up sponsor wise. We've got more sponsors for our events now than some of National's events, which is really, really amazing. And it's just because we've got somebody, an expert who's great at reaching those people. And that's really what we've done here with DFW NORML is we've brought all these people that are passionate about marijuana reform and allowed them to do what they already do for a living just for us, and it's really, really benefiting us.
Yeah, a lot of this is setting up a relationship with the right people. We were talking on the way in here about the owner of this venue. And then also, of course, you think DFW NORML, you think the Truth vehicles and the big SUV you've got out there. Tell us about your working relationship with some of these sponsors and how other chapters might develop that.
Well, I'll tell you, where you really, really need to start is venues. You know, you got to find a venue that's going to really take good care of you, that's not going to try to pull one over on you like we did. You know, Froggy's, Chris is the owner, and he owns a couple of venues here in town, and he's been crucial in the growth of DFW NORML because without him, without a consistent place that we could come and hold our events privately, make some money at it, and bring people out and let them feel empowered, you know, we wouldn't be where we were today. And so the number one thing I'd say is establish a good relationship with someone who will let you bring your own bands in and play music and make some money for your chapter. And it's really going to start from there. And then you can start bringing in higher level sponsors to sponsor those events for you. You know, so you don't have to cover those costs. Like us, we covered a good half of the costs ourselves for this conference, but half that cost was covered by sponsors. Would have been impossible without those relationships.
Yeah, that's what it takes. Teamwork. You can't do it by yourself, people. You got to get involved with other like-minded folks that are willing to, you know, put something on the line for this. So for yourself, putting together this conference, is this the first conference you've had to put together?
This is. I actually got into event planning because of NORML. I wear a bunch of hats because of NORML, and over the past couple of years, we've done a lot of live music events. We've done marches and this and that, and we kind of felt like after attending the national conference last year that we could do that. And here we are now. We've done it, and I feel like this has probably been the biggest undertaking we've ever had, not just because of the money side of it, just because of all the coordinating of all the different people. We've got so many great speakers coming in from all over the place that we really wanted to make sure that this was going to be something that was valuable for people. So, yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've done anything like this. I really hope it's successful, and I feel like it's the beginning of the end of Prohibition in Texas.
As a regional conference, have you got commitments from different chapters from states around this area?
We haven't, but we have gotten commitments from, you know, most of the bigger state chapters here in Texas,
Okay.
even some of the brand new ones. Like, for example, we've got people from Benbrook NORML. They're not even official yet, but they're going to be with us.
Great.
UTA NORML just became official. And so we've got a really good showing of our Texas chapters. And the main reason we actually called it a Texas Regional NORML Conference is not only because Texas is huge and, you know, it's its own region, but there's so many chapters here. We've kind of become our own region of activism. We're kind of doing it our own way here in Texas. And I felt like it was important to differentiate Texas from the rest of the country and how we were doing it.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of sectioned us off by calling it that. And plus, had I just called it the Texas NORML Conference, it would have seemed like Texas NORML in Austin was putting this on. And it really, I didn't want to create confusion for an already sometimes confused audience.
Okay. Now, having a conference here in Texas got to be a lot of different logistics than having one in San Francisco or Seattle or Denver. What are some of the, did you run into any problems trying to get this set up, or are businesses, hotels and such in Texas getting more amenable to this?
They're definitely easier to approach now than they were a couple of years ago. And I go back to my great example of Pete Marrero. You know, he's just great at bridging that gap for people, for a professional to realize that this is just a bunch of whatever I think it is. It's something else. It's professionals, doctors, yada, yada. And so, yeah, I mean, personally, I guess I just kind of feel like when Pete's involved, he's allowing us to do things that we've never been able to do just because he's great at talking to people. He's great at building those relationships. And really, that's what this is all about, is having good relationships that we can work together, and not only to put on a good event or something like that, but to work together to actually end prohibition.
So what's happened to that effect, ending prohibition in Texas? Can you give us a rundown of, like, maybe just the past year? Has there been any progress,
no,
roadblocks?
Unfortunately, it was, we thought we had some hopes for HB 184. It got out of its first committee and got some time on the floor, which is the first time in history in Texas.
A medical bill?
No, this was a decriminalization bill, small possession. We also had HB 594, which was, an affirmative defense bill. That didn't get a whole lot of traction. DFW NORML, actually, in association with some attorneys and law professors, wrote our own Medical Marijuana Act for 2013 for Texas. But unfortunately, we couldn't find somebody willing to sponsor it.
And you guys have to have a sponsor.
We have to have a sponsor here, yeah. We don't have the right to referendum, unfortunately, which it's amazing to me how many Texans I tell and they're surprised about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blows me away. It just makes me realize how big our job really is. It's not just educating people about cannabis, but it's also about educating them about how the political system really works if you're going to be serious about making a change.
Right. If you can't get a sponsor for legalization and you can't get things out of committee at a smaller level, it makes the job a lot harder. You mentioned the decrim bill. These have made more progress than previously, though, right? They did get out of committee.
Most definitely, and it's funny because these are the same bills that are always introduced every session in Texas. And this is the first time that they got a step further.
Yeah.
And so that is, I'm pretty happy about that, but at the same time, I do feel like we kind of missed our opportunity this year in Texas. I feel like we could have gone further had we pushed harder. And it just, it invigorates me for the next session because I feel like next time they're not going to be able to stop hearing about us.
Right. Now, are these representatives in the legislature accurately representing the wishes of Texas, or do you feel more Texans are on your side these days?
I feel like overall Texans or even the legislators, they're willing to hear this topic out. They're not willing to just say, no, that's stupid anymore.
Okay.
The point, I guess, with everything is all these Texans, they're just afraid to come out and publicly support it because the laws in the South are kind of harsh. They're just afraid that by saying, well, hey, I think that we should have a rational discussion about marijuana policy, that the police are going to come and kick in their door for that. Or if they go and sit down their representative, suddenly they're going to lose their job because that representative, and it's just, that's not the way that it works.
Yeah.
And so really, if we as NORML can empower more Texans to just say, hey, I'm not afraid about this anymore, I'm going to talk to not just my local representatives, but my family and my doctor and everyone else that I can about this, the next time it comes up for a vote, man, I feel like we're going to have some serious progress in Texas.
So what is it that people are afraid of? Give us an idea of some of the penalties involved for possession or cultivation. Any ideas?
Well, my favorite, I think, is the fact that Texas is one of those states that differentiates the concentrates so greatly. Yeah. So, you can have a couple of ounces up to 4 ounces and it's a misdemeanor, but you have one of those, for example, Russ.
And that's
you have one of those and that's a felony no matter how much. and it's ridiculous. And grinders too, as soon as you extract that pollen, suddenly you're a felon. You're a hash manufacturer here in Texas. And it just, when you tell people that and their eyes bug out, they're like, whoa, we really need to change these laws, don't we?
Double felon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at all that residue. Yeah, you're going away for a long time.
I'm going away. Texas prison. Well, maybe I can make some friends. They'll see me through. We're sitting here with Shaun McAlister from DFW NORML. He's executive director. We're putting together the Texas Regional NORML Conference, the first one, and this is kind of going along a trend. There was just a Mid-Atlantic States Regional Conference. I was out at the Southern Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe they're doing one in Missouri this year. Is this something you'd like continue to do? Keep having regional Texas conference?
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully we start seeing even more of these pop up. I'd like to see them in every state, but it's going to start with having more chapters, more active chapters of either NORML or anything else in those states on the ground, putting these types of things together.
Yeah, absolutely. And Texas is ripe for change here. I know people get kind of discouraged, and they may think, "Oh, it'll never change here. It'll never change here." What do you see as being the what can you give people in Texas to give them hope?
Well, one thing that I just found out after I discovered that Rob Campia from Marijuana Policy Project was in fact going to be speaking at our event, I found out that he has recently purchased property here in Austin.
Oh, really?
So the simple fact that Rob Campia is moving to Texas means to me that some MPP resources are about to start coming to Texas.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been a game changer all over the country as it is. And so MPP is taking notice of what we're doing here in Texas, and they're shifting resources. And I think that once more organizations see that happening, they're going to do it as well. And suddenly you're going to hear this movement in Texas getting louder and bigger, and we're going to be doing more things like this conference. My goal is not to continue to throw these conferences. I want to throw big, gigantic protests. We did our global marijuana march recently, and it had a great turnout, but I wanted to see 1,000 people in the street, not 500.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we're going with all of this, is to get people active, not just with NORML, not just with drug policy reform, but just in talking about making a change and really trying to be positive representatives of this movement, even if they aren't going to go out and join NORML tomorrow.
Right. How much of this in Texas, how much of the politics in Texas around marijuana also gets intertwined with the politics of immigration? Is there a lot of that overlap?
I feel like there probably is, but since I'm not involved in those discussions, I really couldn't speak too much how involved that is. But I do feel like we're going to come to a point where we're going to have to look right across the border and say, this is going to start spilling over here. Maybe it hasn't yet, but as this prohibition continues to tighten around the state of Texas, violence is going to really start to spill over the border, and we're going to start to see, the kind old white folks getting hurt from this prohibition. And once that happens, I feel like the people are going to say enough's enough of this.
Yeah, it's happening. We're starting to see it. I just covered a show today. I covered a story today from the Dallas Cowboys where that Josh, I forget his last name, charged with vehicular manslaughter, twice the BAC. Now he's failed a pot test.
And they're going to blame it all on the weed all of a sudden.
But so this is not, this is not something that's unheard of here in Texas. I mean, God, Willie Nelson throws a party every year. Texas loves Willie Nelson. Speaking of that, I'm going on tour with the FNAs. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit, your relationship with this band, the FNAs.
Well, the FNAs, they played one of the first DFW NORML events that I went to a couple of years ago, and they've really just kind of stuck around. They've probably played, at this point, maybe a dozen shows for us for free, and they're just really talented, passionate guys, and we kind of felt like they were awesome representatives of the movement because, they're a 6-piece band, only half of them smoke.
Oh.
And yet, all of them are friendly to the cause. And
great.
They continue to just volunteer their time and talents, and I've been able to see them develop over the past couple of years as a band, not just as a really talented band, but a passionate one at that. And over the last couple of years, we kind of decided that we wanted to do something on a national level, and it was going to take an amazingly talented artist, and we just so happened to know these FNAs. And after speaking with them about it, we kind of decided that we felt like we could pull this off. We could go around the country and say, this is our little brand of DFW NORML's activism all around the country. Add some amazing music to it, add an amazing speaker like yourself to the mix, and suddenly we've got just a wonderful tour all over the country where people are going to just have a great time and really going to feel empowered.
It's going to be great. Let's tell you more about it. Shaun McAlister from DFW NORML, thanks for joining us. When we come back, we're going to show you some videos from Brian the Red and the brave Michaela family, so stick around.
Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business.
Tokers, there's no good reason to get your dog stoned. While it might not harm them physically, imagine being a dog who already begs for treats all day, and then imagine that dog having the munchies. Not cool.
5 of the last 7 major party candidates to run for president, 3 of the last 7 vice presidential candidates, and the last 3 presidents have all smoked pot. Marijuana, the gateway drug to the White House. This is the Russ Belville Show.
You want answers? I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Hooah!
Radical rant.
Are you there, Russ? Okay, looks like Russ has stepped away. I'm gonna go ahead and play these couple of videos that he told me to play. This is some footage that I took when I was out after I just got back from the Aspen Legal Seminar last Sunday. And the first one here is of Team Able. They're another cancer survivor and being helped out by Brave Family. So we're going to cut to that, and hope you enjoy that stuff.
All right, here we've got Brave Dad here. How's it going? Brandon, who has recently just submitted his first article to Ladybud Magazine.
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead and tell us what the article's about.
The article's about Abel McBride. He's a 2-year-old cannabis patient that we've helped get his card and medicine here in Oregon to help treat his Wilms tumor. It's a type of kidney cancer, and he had to have a kidney removed, and after it was removed it ruptured, spilling cancer into his abdomen area. So his parents, he had been talking with us after following McAlister's story for some time, and we reached out to them and helped us. It's actually Aaron's really good friend from high school. His mother, her name's Danielle McBride. The article for it goes live on Monday at ladybud.com. Thanks for reading.
Great. All right, everybody, you make sure to check that out, ladybud.com. Brandon's article will be hitting there next week.
Should be awesome.
Right on.
Had to adjust the audio a couple times on these, so bear with me.
What was Abel's condition?
He was diagnosed with stage 3 Wilms tumor.
Oh, that's not good. And how long ago was that?
March 17th.
Okay, and today is June the 2nd, so a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And he's on cannabis treatment now?
Yes.
How's he reacting to that?
He's doing really good. As you can see, I mean...
Yeah, he looks happy. He does.
Yeah, he's been eating and playing. Oh yeah.
Well, that's great. That's excellent. Keep on fighting, keep on spreading the information, and we'll keep doing what we can at 420radio.org to help support brave people like you and the Brave family. What's your name?
John.
John? Okay. And this is your brother Abel up here?
Yeah.
How do you feel that cannabis is helping your brother?
Good.
You feel good about that? That's great. Yep, we should all feel good about cannabis helping people, right?
It's doing good for him, huh? He's happy and healthy.
He sure looks happy and healthy.
Yep.
That's great. And we're going to try and keep it that way with cannabis.
Right.
Howdy, everybody. Brian the Red here for 420radio.org. Today is Sunday, January 2nd, 2013, and it's the National Cancer Survivors Walk, or gathering. We're going to go and see if any of our friends are over here celebrating that they are still alive because of cannabis. We'll get some more video for you in just a little bit.
Access to a number of different incredible resources. This is a celebration of life today.
Looks like we found some friends.
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
How you doing?
How are you?
Doing fine.
What are you out here doing?
I just,
you should see how many people are wearing these things.
Damn right, yeah. I just got back in from Aspen.
Aspen, Colorado?
Yeah,
How was that?
the National NORML. There's Michaela. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, we're out here running around spreading
Everybody
awareness.
say hi to 420 Radio.
420 Radio.
We all showed up in our red McAlister shirts.
That looks great. You look great.
Staticky.
You're all staticky.
Yeah, it's staying on.
Say hi to Brian.
Say hi, Brian.
There's Riley. Okay, well, we'll get some more footage in a little bit. So are you having fun today, Michaela? There you go. That looks good. Oh. You're welcome. Can we get a look at your button?
No, I think she wants
Can we look at your button with the camera? National Cancer Survivor. Okay. 1 year survivor. That is right. It was almost 1 year ago that you were diagnosed, right? Mm-hmm. That was last June. Now you're cancer free.
No, last July.
Last July. That's right. But because of cannabis, you're cancer free. Right? That's great.
Here, she wants to sit with Sissy.
Everybody's having a good time. We got clowns, we got food inside, and lots of people celebrating surviving cancer, whether cannabis helped them or didn't.
Here's in.
Okay, so 420radio.org here. This is Brian the Red, and I'm here with
Elias Cooper.
Elias Cooper, and he is a 6-month survivor, and we can see that he is wearing one of the lovely Brave Michaela shirts. And there's the little girl herself, Brave Michaela. And so how's the cannabis working for you? What kind of cancer did you have, and how's the treatment going?
I have CLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia. My white blood cell count is too high, and the oil is keeping it from getting so high that they give me chemotherapy.
Excellent. That's great. And you've been on the oil for about 6 months now?
No, I've been on the oil since February,
Okay.
beginning of February.
So
And
about 4 months?
yeah, and they were talking about chemo at the time, and then we jumped on the oil because I don't want to do that. And 3.5 weeks later, we went to check again, and the numbers had dropped by like 40,000. They were, that's like unreal. So yeah, now
That's the miracle of cannabis right there.
it is, and then they said no chemo as long as it stays, that low. And that the magic number for them is like 90 or 100,000 white blood cells, and as long as I keep it down under there, then I don't have to have chemotherapy, and I don't want to have chemotherapy. So
That's excellent. Well, it's great to see you out here at National Cancer Survivor Day.
thank you.
Thank you for being part of
Oh, sure, no problem, anytime.
Yeah, definitely.
Down here at the National Cancer Survivors Day, we were walking around to the booths, and here at the inside here at the radiation clinic, they're handing out "Show Your Glow" bracelets, and I find that highly offensive because there's a natural cure and a natural remedy out there known as cannabis. I can't understand for the life of me why people still submit themselves to radiation, regardless of what cancer they have. They need to turn to the oil at first draw. They need it right away. So if you go in here and you see the "Show Your Glow" bracelet, take one and be sure to trade them off with the Brave Michaela bracelet and tell them there's a different choice to make.
Damn right. That is the truth right there, period. Got another pendant on. One of Brave Michaela's very helpers here.
How cool. So you're Michaela's aunt? Is that right? Oh yeah, it's really good friends. But yeah, like an aunt. Yeah. Like part of the family. Yeah. Oh, that's good. All my family's in Texas, so. Okay, and that's why you picked silver 21 green Cowboys. like a blue. All right, let's see. It's a lotus flower. Let's see. No, I used to be a Cowboys fan, and then they just wow, that's amazing. Oh, we did that blue. This one down. Yeah.
Start gathering on the inside to our guest speakers this afternoon.
You guys.
That's so pretty. But not half as pretty as she is. Tell us what you think of cancer. What do you think about cancer? What? That's right from the mouth of babes.
From Cuba, but I'm an American. I get money like Seacrest. Put it on my life, baby. I make it feel right, baby. Can't promise tomorrow, but I promise tonight. Got it. Might take you home with me if I could. Baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. 'Cause we might not get tomorrow.
You wanna go dance with them? Oh, well, I'm so sorry it had to cut off there, because that was just the cutest, you know, our little Michaela and family dancing around. It was great seeing them at National Cancer Survivors Day. My plane got me in just in time last Sunday. It's delayed, but I was still able to see Brave Family. Big up to all of them. Thanks to you all for joining us. We're going to have a replay of Toker Talk Radio next because Russ is still traveling. Hope you enjoy this, and as always, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down to